We are on to day 2's reading skill practice, which is main idea and details. And as we can see from the first question, main idea is what the passage is mainly or mostly about. Now, just like with day 1's reading skill of theme, the first thing you should have done with day 2 is read the entire passage all the way through and then read the question with all of the answer choices. Then you should look through the answer choices to see if there are any that you can cross off as nonsense answers. When you did this, you should have found that you could cross off answer choice D as nonsense because the Boston Tea Party wasn't even mentioned until the middle of the passage. You should have also found that you could cross off answer choice B as nonsense because the passage doesn't talk about why tea tastes good at all. While the passage does mention China at the beginning and the end, we know that A, the history of tea, is the best answer choice because when we go back to look for clues, we see that it's giving the history of tea at the beginning, starting thousands of years ago, going to the middle of its history in the 16 and 1700s, and ending with today. The next thing that you should have done is read the entire trusted information passage all the way through, as well as the question and all of the answer choices. Now, this question is not asking for the main idea, it's asking for the detail that supports the main idea that food labels are useful for making good choices. Now, when we look through our answer choices to see if there are any nonsense answers we can cross off, we see that we can cross off answer choice A, because when the passage is talking about only some information being trusted, they haven't even talked about the food labels yet, which is what the question is asking about. You should have also crossed off answer choice D as a nonsense answer because telling us what the label is called does not give us any useful information that would help us make a good choice, which is what the question is asking about. When you look back in the passage to try to find clues to match the correct answer, you would see that answer choice B is correct, because when you find answer choice B in the passage, you see that the sentence before it says by looking at food labels, you can decide for yourself what your body needs, which would be making a good choice. The sentence after it says, using the information from the labels can help make you smarter choices, which is exactly what the question was asking for. Now we move on to the second page, where you should have read the entire tundra story along with the question underneath. Again, this question is not asking for the main idea of the entire passage, it's asking for a detail from the story that matches the idea that animals are ready to live in the tundra. I'm going to highlight the word animals in the question to remind me what I should be looking for in the passage to help me answer the question. Then I'm going to look back at each paragraph in the passage and I'm going to write a little note next to each paragraph to remind me what they were about. So the first paragraph was a description of the tundra, the second paragraph was about animals, and the third paragraph was about plants. I can then highlight the animals paragraph because it matches the animals in the question. So I know that the answer to the question is most likely going to be in the second paragraph. Now I'm trying to find a sentence that supports the idea that animals are ready to live in the tundra. Well, the first sentence of the second paragraph says, some animals living in the tundra are prepared for the cold weather. I know that the word ready from the question means the same as prepared from the sentence in the second paragraph. I also know that the tundra from the question is a cold place from the first paragraph. Therefore, the first sentence in the second paragraph matches what the question is asking for. The next thing you should have done is read the entire weather paragraph as well as the question and all of the answer choices. Now you'll notice we're back to being asked for the main idea of the entire paragraph. So I'm going to write a note to myself to remind myself that the main idea is what the paragraph is mostly about. A good tip to help you find the main idea of a paragraph is to remember that usually the main idea is going to be brought up several times throughout the paragraph. So when I look back in this paragraph, I see that answer choice B, which says that pictures help weather reporters get information out in a fast way, is mentioned a few times throughout the paragraph, at the beginning and at the end. Therefore, I can conclude that it is the best answer choice. Finally, we have our Day 2 vocabulary skill practice, which is prefixes and suffixes. Question 1 asks about the word mistreat, which we see there is the prefix miss. So you should have asked yourself, what does the prefix miss mean? Well, I know that it means wrong or incorrect, so I'm going to write myself a little note. Now, since wrong and incorrect are both negative words, I can cross off answer choices B and D because nicely and well are positive answer choices. Then I can use clues from the paragraph to help me decide that answer choice A, to treat badly, is the correct answer choice. The next question asks about the word dependable. This time we have the suffix able. Again, I need to ask myself, what does that suffix mean? Then I'm going to write myself a little note to remind myself that it means capable of or able to be. Looking at the sentence, I see that Mrs. Willis can always be counted on for her help, so I can cross off answer choices C and D because expensive and being wrong do not match that clue. I can then use my note of what the suffix able means to choose the correct answer choice, which is B, able to be depended on. The next question asks about the word disagree. So I need to look at the prefix dis, and I'm going to write myself a note to remind me that it means not or the opposite of. Then I can use that definition of the prefix to help choose the correct answer choice, which is A, not agree. The last question asks about the word overfishing and points out the prefix over. So I'm going to write myself a note again to remind myself that over means above or too much. Then I'm going to look back in the paragraph where the word overfishing was used, and I'm going to look for clues around it to see if it can help me find the definition. And when I do that, I see that it says too many fish are taken out of the ocean before more fish can take their place. Well, too many matches my definition of too much that I wrote earlier. So that tells me that overfishing must mean fishing too much.